If you're anything like me, since the advent of laptops, I've tried to store more and more documents into my laptop digitally rather than carry around a lot of paper. But lately, I've seen more and more people embrace paper into their daily lives. Hi, I'm Dave Edwards. Today, we continue our series on productivity with David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done. Now, the last time I spoke with David, we started talking about maintaining a productivity system while traveling, while on the road. And that got us to talk about paper-based versus digital productivity systems.
There was a period of time, and I think it was because all new tools were coming out, that everybody decided they wanted to be paperless. And I will admit, in fact, I will tell you my story, and maybe you had a better solution for me that I didn't think about. There was a time when, of course, I'm based here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, center of the United States, but I was chairing the board of directors of NPR in Washington, and I was on average about once a week flying back and forth. And my system was paper-based, and I was continually having a problem where I would be in Washington, D.C. and needed a document that was in my Milwaukee office or vice versa. So I kind of gradually moved everything into Evernote. And a lot of my peers did the same thing, but I'm now beginning to sense that people are kind of moving back to paper, even such things as a calendar. I mean, I have a digital calendar, but a lot of my friends now, you set up a meeting with them, they bring out a paper calendar and do it. So we're maybe going through a transition.
Yeah, well, especially if people uh, have attention issues, the number of clicks that you have to do on any kind of digital device, drops. For every click, you drop about 60% interest and participation.
Mm,
Because it takes too much work to go look to find whatever. I got to turn it on. I got to turn on my phone. I have to hit this. I have to then hit my password or put a Face ID or whatever, and then can be able to do that. Now I do that, and I do that now too because it's just easier. It's just easier to do that. But again, there are as many or more steps sometimes digitally to manage your data and retrieve it digitally
mm.
than it is to have it paper-based. And paper-based is in your face. It's right there. It's staring at you, whatever. And I doubt if your calendar is staring at you right now, Dave.
No, it's
You
not.
know, yeah. And so there are people that even people that are very high tech. I know have gone back to paper for a lot of that, both calendar and list management. There's no right or wrong. It's like,
Mhm.
well, okay, which one has the smoothest sailing, when you're moving around and doing what you're doing, and to your point of, flying back and forth to DC with your meetings, one thing on my travel checklist was what documents do I need on this trip relative to people I'm meeting with, things that may be going on the trip that I might need that stuff in hand, or have it available to me. So
Mhm.
that was just another item. Sometimes it was nothing, but sometimes, oh, I really need to print that out and then carry that with me, you know,
Right, right.
to do that.
My inbox here is actually kind of full because I haven't emptied it in a few days. But that's always been a problem for me when I travel because a lot of things are kind of thrown at you, from meeting notes to receipts to whatever. How have you managed that to keep yourself sane while you're traveling?
As I have for years.
So you have an inbox on your desk, an inbox tray on your desk, but when you travel, you take that folder.
Correct.
Okay.
And it might be now because I'm in Europe, sometimes it looks like that
Okay.
because, you know, you got funky little receipts or whatever.
Right.
They stick better in a plastic, sort of an enclosed snapped little plastic folder.
Yeah,
But
it's all those little things that are easy to be lost in even in a regular file folder.
yeah, and my last trip, by the way, I didn't take a briefcase. I took my pack, and uh,
What do you mean your
these
pack? Well, you mean a backpack?
A backpack, yeah, because my laptop fits in that, and given that I was lot of different reasons, I decided to not bother with a carry-on, but check my stuff. And so, my travel folder, I have a version of that in travel documents, because that can sit in my backpack like that, whereas the open file folders don't.
Right.
So I just kind of manage, the little sort of low tech versions of how do I manage whatever documentation I need, and it's not that complex. I mean,
Yeah. But that little
you know,
snap makes a big difference, I think, for keeping things together.
yeah, it can. Well, certainly if you
Yeah.
if you have to turn it sideways,
Right.
in a backpack.
What other folders do you typically carry with you when you are on the road or have been on the road?
Not much, as little as possible. But basically, that travel checklist, or my travel, I carry, and I carry anything. If it's not a big trip, I'll usually put everything in there that I might need during the trip.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So,
You,
you know, that's how I do that.
okay. You said something in a video that you recorded many, many, many years ago, probably when you were in the midst of all of your extensive travel, that one of the most important things you can do is when you return from a trip, literally take your briefcase and just dump everything out of it. And I have to tell you, that has saved my bacon so many different times.
It's the thing I hate the most, but is, to your point, is extremely valuable. When I came back with my pack after this trip, to just unload and decompress all the stuff that I collected in it and around it, and these was unnecessary evil. And yeah, to your point, that's great. Uh, the loose ends, the weird, strange little loose ends after doing travel, are the things that will eat you alive. And so, to your point, it is salvation to have the habit to make sure that you don't have any loose ends. It's like, your 9-year-old that comes back with a pack, at the end of the week, and unloads the stuff that the teacher gave them their mom needs to sign. Same thing.
Yeah. One of the things that when you recorded that video that I was tremendously jealous of you is you had this wonderful leather Toomey bag, which I lusted after but couldn't afford. It was way too expensive for my budget at the time. But the one thing I also realized is that, if you have a really large briefcase, you're just going to put more garbage in there, and it's going to be heavier to carry. And so I'm always looking for ways to kind of, narrow, as you said, just bring what you want to have, and just don't worry about the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, me too. But that Toomey briefcase, I still can use it on a big trip, because it fits the iPad, it fits the laptop, it fits my phone, it fits all these travel folders that I might need. It fits dental floss. It fits, all the chargers that you might need on the train. So sometimes you just need that,
Right.
and that's comfortable.
Right.
David Allen is the author of Getting Things Done. It's my privilege to discuss productivity related issues with him periodically here on YouTube, and I'd like to suggest that you subscribe to this series so you'll always know when we release another segment. And please hit the like button too. Oh, and one more thing, I publish a weekly newsletter on productivity, leadership, and management issues. It's absolutely free. I'd love to send it to you, along with a copy of my ebook on the top 20 research tested productivity tips. All you got to do is go to my website, daveedwardsmedia.com, click on the contact page, fill out the information, and we'll get you all set up. More segments with David Allen coming soon. I'm Dave Edwards.